Anzu, a first-year high school student, loves three things: video games, chocolate, and her pet cat, Momohiko. One day, a magical love cupid named Riri shows up and shares some news. In order to tackle Japan's decreasing birth rates, cupids from the magic realm will assist young people without romantic experience in finding love. Anzu's life is about to change as she is surrounded by attractive guys and put into romantic situations until she picks a boyfriend. To make sure Anzu doesn't avoid these situations, Riri takes away all her games and chocolate. Furthermore, Riri sends Anzu's parents to work in America and takes Momohiko along so they don't interfere. Anzu is furious and decides to rebel against Riri by avoiding romance altogether and becoming the romantic killer until Riri quits and her life returns to normal. However, her plans take an unexpected turn when Anzu coincidentally bumps into Tsukasa, a popular guy from her school. She repeatedly has embarrassing encounters with him, but she finds his reserved and distant personality unappealing. At home, Anzu feels bored without her games, and during a moment of frustration after seeing a cockroach, she goes to a park to sulk. Caught in the rain, Anzu is spotted by Tsukasa, who happens to be passing by with an umbrella. Despite trying to ignore signs of impending romance, Anzu is convinced to share Tsukasa's umbrella. After explaining about the cockroach, Tsukasa offers to kill it for her, and a comical hunt for the cockroach ends with Anzu accidentally sitting on Tsukasa, but the cockroach is killed, and they become friendly. Tsukasa finds the rain has become a typhoon, trapping him at Anzu's house overnight, which Anzu confirms is Riri's doing. Riri demands Anzu dazzle Tsukasa with her wifely cooking, so she spitefully serves cheap cup ramen for lunch, and after her bath deliberately wears her most unflattering pajamas, which can never inspire romance. Deciding to play board games, Riri causes Anzu to get all the bad cards so Tsukasa wins. Anzu burns dinner, but with Tsukasa's help they finish and even prepare bentos for school. Anzu realizes Tsukasa might not be so aloof after all, but stops herself before she develops feelings. Disappointed, Riri uses magic to make Anzu fall asleep, first in the living room. Anzu dreams she is holding Momohiko, so when Tsukasa tries to wake her, she grabs his hand and refuses to let go. Tsukasa accepts he is stuck for the night and realizes he hasn't had that much fun in a long time. Anzu is mortified when she awakens in Tsukasa's lap. Tsukasa goes home but returns, explaining the typhoon flooded his apartment. Anzu suspects Riri again. At school, a teacher mistakenly reveals to Tsukasa's fans, Rina and Yukika, that Tsukasa and Anzu know each other, and they insist on accompanying her to meet Tsukasa. Tsukasa is so annoyed he leaves with Anzu and forbids Rina and Yukika from following. He explains that girls like Rina, who constantly seek his attention when he is uninterested in dating, are tedious, so he prefers to spend time with Anzu. Anzu realizes if Tsukasa isn't interested in dating, she can be his friend without risking romance. A series of bad luck caused by Riri mean there are no available apartments anywhere, causing Tsukasa to ask to live with Anzu temporarily. Anzu is furious Riri so expertly manipulated them, but agrees so Tsukasa won't become homeless. On their first day together, Anzu sees Tsukasa is also helpful and a hard worker. Riri reappears to remind Anzu dating sims include multiple men, and so to kickstart her romantic life, it is time for the next level. At that moment, another hot guy knocks on Anzu's door, a forgotten childhood friend. Anzu has no memories of the guy Chunta, and Riri alludes to planting fake memories in Chunta's mind of a childhood crush on Anzu, and if Anzu wants to win quickly, she need only take the easy route by becoming Chunta's girlfriend. Anzu is forced to play along with the fake friendship to not confuse Chunta. They encounter Anzu's real friend Saki, from whom Anzu confirms everyone at school has false memories of her and Chunta being friends. Rina tries to talk to Tsukasa again, who bluntly tells her to go away, angering her. Tsukasa and Chunta both worry about comparing to each other. Chunta is the school's baseball prodigy, and Tsukasa excels at academics. Due to mixing up their bentos, Anzu ends up eating lunch with Tsukasa and his friend Makoto, witnessed by Rina. Rina later interrogates Anzu about her relationship with Tsukasa, and when Anzu confirms it is not romantic, insists Anzu help set her up with Tsukasa. Knowing Tsukasa dislikes Rina, Anzu refuses. Before Rina can retaliate, a strange girl appears, claiming to be Anzu's friend, and tricks Rina into leaving through her overly energetic personality and intimate questions about Rina's breasts. Anzu then realizes the girl is actually Riri in magical disguise. After Tsukasa thanks Anzu for telling Rina off, Riri claims to be Anzu's cousin and invites Chunta to Anzu's house. Over dinner, Chunta is despondent after learning Tsukasa can cook. Riri tries to suggest Chunta also live with them, so Anzu steals Riri's wand. The two wrestle over it until Riri drops it in dog poo, rendering it temporarily powerless. Tsukasa reassures Chunta he has no interest in dating anyone. After Chunta goes home, Tsukasa shares with Anzu that he is unused to family dinners, leading her to suspect he probably lived alone due to a complicated relationship with his parents. The next morning, more of Tsukasa's fans notice him walking to school with Anzu, but she claims their homes are just close to each other. As Tsukasa has work after school, Anzu goes home and without her games, goes to bed early. An underwear thief then breaks into the house but is scared by Anzu's demonic rage, and a passing Chunta catches the thief for the police. Chunta's mother, unaware Tsukasa already lives with her, insists Chunta live with Anzu to protect her, which Anzu's parents quickly agree to. Anzu is furious upon realizing Riri has successfully manipulated the event to her living with two attractive guys at the same time. To limit her contact with both boys at home, Anzu gets a job at a konbini. Tsukasa asks Anzu to go clothes shopping with him, hoping her presence will deter other women. Riri appears, insisting Anzu treat the shopping trip like a date or she will confiscate all her cat-themed clothing. A furious Anzu reluctantly agrees to wear cute clothes and makeup, which flusters Tsukasa. Determined to resist Riri, Anzu acts as unromantic as possible and buys normal clothes but plans to never wear them. Anzu leaves to use the bathroom and multiple women immediately approach Tsukasa, their unwanted attention almost giving him a panic attack until Anzu returns. Grateful, Tsukasa finds himself staring at Anzu more than usual, and when she sees a cute cat bracelet, impulsively buys it for her. Chunta meets them returning home and is overwhelmed by Anzu and makeup. That night, Riri sees the three have become far too comfortable living together and decides some drama is required to get the romance moving. The next day, Anzu's alarm doesn't go off, and while running late for school, she's almost hit by the car of another hot guy, an arrogant rich one. The rich guy, Hijiri, is so egotistical, he believes Anzu caused the car accident to blackmail him into dating her. Upon this realization, Anzu yells at him and leaves. Hijiri is confused since Anzu is the first person uninterested in him, so he decides to make her fall in love with him using her three worldly desires: chocolate, games, and kittens. Riri offers to let Anzu keep the gifts if she gives Hijiri a chance. Insulted, Anzu unexpectedly rejects the gifts, claiming she has no interest in meaningless gifts bought with his parents' money. Hijiri is unexpectedly saddened by this, and the next day, Anzu finds Hijiri employed at the same konbini where she works. Despite his arrogance, Hijiri actually excels at customer service, and Anzu learns from Tsuchiya, his bodyguard, that her interactions with Hijiri cause a dramatic shift in his personality. Since the rejection, he has actually been trying to relate to normal people. After receiving his first wage, Hijiri offers to buy her a gift with his own money. Feeling guilty, Anzu can't reject his offer and requests a cheap soda. Seeing Hijiri smile, the moment almost becomes romantic until Anzu slaps herself back to sanity. Returning home, Anzu sees Tsukasa receive a text from a girl named Arisa. By chance, Anzu encounters Arisa, who turns out to be Tsukasa's older sister, worried about Tsukasa's living arrangements, which she feels guilty over due to his problems being caused by Riri. Arisa explains Tsukasa lives alone because of their father, but she is happy Anzu is making Tsukasa more like his old self. Arisa successfully convinces Tsukasa to continue living with Anzu indefinitely. Riri is disappointed Anzu still has no boyfriend, so deciding she needs more research into romance, Riri bribes Anzu to take her on a mock date and transforms into a boy named Ryo. During their date at the movies, Tsukasa sees them holding hands, but Ryo simply claims he is Anzu's other cousin, human Riri's twin brother. Ryo selects a romantic movie but realizes it doesn't actually inspire romance, it just makes girls cry and boys bored. While sharing milkshakes, they encounter Hijiri, whom Ryo tries to antagonize by pretending to be a rival for Anzu's attention. Anzu angrily drags Ryo away to continue with typical date activities. Eventually, Ryo decides he has enough research for another scenario, and Anzu swears to defeat it. Ryo suddenly kisses Anzu on the cheek, flustering her, until she realizes Ryo only did it to traumatize Junta. Anzu encounters Emin and Raiporin, old friends from middle school who cause her to remember a chubby boy named Tanta from elementary school. She suddenly remembers Tanta was Junta's nickname, meaning she and Junta really are childhood friends, but she didn't recognize him due to his weight loss. Emin and Raiporin invite Anzu and Junta to their school reunion. Anzu is troubled as Junta being her real childhood friend means his crush on her is real. Riri confirms she never cast a spell to make Junta love her. All she did was help them reunite after years apart. At the reunion, a boy named Ryuya insists on playing games, girls versus boys, with punishments, but with Anzu's game skills, the boys lose constantly and have to embarrassingly reveal their first crush and buy the girls ice cream. Junta arrives later and Ryuya becomes bitter that he has become handsome and popular. Ryuya quits the reunion, but when Anzu chases him, he admits Anzu was his first crush, but he was always jealous she was closer to Chunta. Anzu is able to turn him down while remaining friends, but Chunta is again traumatized when Anzu claims she isn't interested in him either. Despite the rejection, Ryuya is determined to win Anzu's heart. Saki's older brother kicks her out so he can party, forcing Saki to walk to Anzu's house and accidentally discovers she lives with Tsukasa and Chunta. She promises to keep their secret and Anzu considers telling her about Riri, but is struck by a painful need to visit the bathroom. Saki tells Tsukasa him living there might be good for Anzu. Riri confirms Anzu's toilet trouble was punishment for almost revealing her existence. Saki recalls to herself the moment she met Anzu when she defended her from a bully in middle school. She also recalls an incident when an older student she was dating named Ogawa tried to force herself on her. And after he tried to spread rumors about her, Anzu confronted him publicly and exposed his actions. The next day, Riri convinces everyone to attend the summer festival. At the festival, Ryuya meets Tsukasa and despite his own feelings for Anzu, advises Chunta to confess before he misses his chance. Saki encounters Ogawa and freezes in fear as he claims to his friends she is his bitter ex-girlfriend. Makoto senses her fear and makes an excuse to take her away from Ogawa, for which she is grateful. Two random girls take a picture with Tsukasa in the background and post it online. Minutes later, the photo is seen by a disturbed woman who is happy to have finally found Tsukasa's location. The woman Yukana approaches Anzu claiming to be Tsukasa's girlfriend. Anzu is suspicious, and when Tsukasa sees Yukana, he reacts in fear, so Anzu forces Yukana to leave. After recovering from a panic attack, Tsukasa confirms Yukana is his stalker and the reason he lived alone, so she couldn't find him. He explains how Yukana began stalking him after a random encounter on the street, but Tsukasa's father accused him of making it all up. Yukana began posing as Tsukasa's girlfriend online, even once drugging him to plant cameras in the house and take intimate pictures. Tsukasa's father continued to blame him and began beating him, so his mother and sister helped Tsukasa rent an apartment and transfer schools. With Yukana's return, Arisa moves into Anzu's house too to help her brother. Yukana convinces thugs to attack Anzu, but she is saved by Junta, Ryuya, Tsuchiya, and even Saki's brother, who all responded to texts Anzu never sent them. Riri confirms she sent the text, but rules prevent her doing anything about Yukana, so Anzu angrily drops her wand and dog poo again. Junta reveals to Tsukasa he only began playing baseball because Anzu once said she liked athletic guys, so he will do anything to protect her. After work, Yukana confronts Anzu in a back alley and attacks her with a knife. Anzu gets a scratch on the forehead from Yukana, and before she can do any more damage, Tsukasa comes running to protect her, angrily decrying her actions. Yukana is arrested, but Tsukasa's father still blames him. Furious, Anzu stands up to him and takes Tsukasa home. Hijiri, whose father employs Yukana's uncle, makes sure he doesn't cover up her crimes yet again, so Yukana is imprisoned. Riri once again appears before Anzu as Rigo, kissing her forehead while confessing love to her, before simply vanishing. Later that night, Riri menacingly visits Yukana in her prison cell. News then arrives that Yukana has lost years of memories and has no idea who Tsukasa is, reliving everyone. Anzu's parents return home with games, chocolate, and Momohiko. With her three loves returned, Anzu wonders where Riri went. That night, Tsukasa informs Chunta he's in love with Anzu. A Cupid named Kate appears before Anzu to replace Riri, but Tsukasa and Chunta accidentally see her, so Kate and Anzu reveal everything. Kate reveals Riri has been exiled for developing feelings for Anzu and using forbidden magic on Yukana. Anzu blackmails Kate into letting her see Riri, which she's able to convince her higher-ups to allow. With Riri transformed into Riho, Anzu thanks him for making her life better and asks him what he truly wants. Riho admits he wants to stay with Anzu, so she declares to Kate there is a chance she might make Rio her boyfriend, so by Cupid law, Kate cannot separate potential lovers and Rio is allowed to stay. Anzu's parents return to America and Tsukasa and Chunta continue living with Anzu. Riri announces the Love Cupids have decided Anzu must choose a boyfriend before graduating high school or she will lose her games, chocolate, and Momohiko permanently, with Anzu declaring she will refuse to let that happen. Meanwhile, Kate is assigned to another human in need of romantic assistance, the amnesiac Yukana.